just added a contorted jujube. A closer look at that. You see how wiggly that is? Oh yeah. And right next to that is a goji berry. And some funny ornamental grass. And then over there is the pomegranate surrounded by asters. This is a pretty interesting bed I've got going on. Usually I lay down cardboard, but in this case, I didn't. In the garden, I had a crazy idea. I just took all my old sunflower stalks, laid them down, crisscrossed them, and just piled up a bunch of stuff on top of it, you know, mostly dirt. And you notice that I have a whole lot of straw. Got some saffron crocuses popping up here. I usually put a shell next to my flowers, so I know that there's a bulb there. Also, the shell collects water, not enough to breed mosquitoes, but just enough to feed birds, give birds water and insects, and create a little humidity. And I got some old stalks of some Wilcadaga, which is a really, really neat plant. I'm probably going to regret this later, because the seed pods that I've left on the ground here are very sharp, really extremely pointy. I don't know what that is, but it's probably some garlic that I threw out here. And I've got this flying dragon citrus tree in a pot. How to put it? It's kind of pointy. I don't think this is a good spot for it. I'm going to move that later. Little gnome. Some wood. And this stuff right here is super good. Sorrel. Now, mind you, this is early March, so we're not into spring yet. We got all sorts of stuff coming in here. I could probably make myself lunch if I wanted to.
Thing? Onions and peanut butter.
Eat it up, Jack.
You have to eat that.
You have to eat every bit of it. You tell him, Nora.
Eat it. Eat it.
So this experiment right here is proof that Egyptian walking onions can be planted by just throwing the bulbs in a dense patch of Bermuda grass and survive. So some wood. Yeah, so I've been working on this little corner here for a while. The whole idea here originally was to block the light, create a little privacy. Every time I find some sort of a gigantic piece of wood that's fallen off the tree, some wood tree, throw it in here. It's kind of a wild area, but tucked away in the back there next to that little viburnum, I'm gonna try to grow mushrooms. I'm trying to create a little shady environment here. Look at those delicious blue oyster mushrooms. My mushroom is cooler than your mushroom, Mr. Gnome. In your face. Here. So I got a wisteria vine tucked here. You know, behind that you can see some brown stringy stuff. It's a passion flower vine. It'll start looking a little prettier. Now underneath, it's pretty wild stuff. I mean, passion fruit. We have nitrogen fixing legume trees. Well, actually, that's not a legume. It's a mimosa, which is a nitrogen-fixing tree that's not a legume. Behind that we have a volunteer mulberry and one of those privacy evergreens that's on my neighbor's property. But more importantly, in this little cave that I'm creating, there's a viburnum, and inside here we have some more mushroom logs, which I forget if they're inoculated with shiitake or oysters, but they've been here for, well, about a year and a half or so. I'm expecting to get something out of them. I don't take care of these at all. I'm hoping that they do the mushroom thing without any care, because I really don't want to create additional work for myself. Yeah, so they smell remarkably like oyster mushrooms, so I'm probably not going to die. This is the passion flower that's growing in this spot. Bees love it. I think it might be a sterile variety. This is probably incense, but the flowers are quite nice, a little bit more ornamental than the wild varieties, and they taste pretty good. The bees are freaking going crazy everywhere. Look at them. I'm surrounded by them. Look at that bee. What you doing, bee? Slacking off on the job, looks like. Okay, there he goes. It's good stuff, huh? So my neighbor was kind enough to give me a tremendous amount of leaves, so I just threw that down. And I'm not sure what the deal is with this little guy. It looks like he's sleeping on the job. Man, what is it with these bees? Is she supposed to be industrious? Look at that cherry bush. Isn't that nice? Get a lot of cherries off that thing. And I'll start piling some sticks on there, make it really tall. And eventually, it's going to be a garden bed. I'm going to start growing stuff in there. And I should really grow some pumpkins. I am especially keen on this stuff. This is a, what's you? Stinkhorns? You sleep? Your stinkhorns aren't properly developed? Alright, let's see. How about this guy? How about this guy? Stinkhorns. Stinkhorns. Nope. You've got stinkhorns. Let's try you. Stinkhorns. Oh my god. Oh my god. Creeping thyme, or an elfin thyme. Really nice, dense, walkable thyme ground cover. Doesn't grow very fast. This is one of those things, I slip one of those in somewhere, hope it does well. I've lost a few. I don't water my plants. I don't really take care of them. You know, I got some really neat red sedum. Sedum. Turns red in the wintertime. It's kind of like a tree. That's some tradition. Look at you. Are you pretty? Not sure what was going on, but this butterfly tried to squirt at me a little while ago. It was pretty scary. Everyone told me that this was no place for a peach tree because it's underneath this tree right here, which looks to be an elm. But it seems to be doing well. It's filling out this area and it's creating a shady area back there that I'm using to experiment with growing oyster mushrooms. We're looking out of the shady zone behind the peach tree. Right next to the peach tree is a filbert, which is starting to take off. It seems to be relatively happy. We have some wild asparagus growing under there. That log right there is inoculated with lion's mane. This was an experiment where all I did was I took a bunch of twigs, dried up twigs that had seeds from cress. Seeds, I love planting seeds, so I was thinking, and I just threw it down there to cover up the soil a little bit, and sure enough, a bunch of cress popped up. Look at those yummy cress flowers. Oh my gosh, look at that squash. Isn't that great? Delicious. There's some gold lick. I'm finding that this does a really good job of competing with the grass in semi-shady areas. There's kiwi vines. I have a male and a female here. And there's the vinca. This is very useful, but under no circumstances should you ever release that into a natural forest. Well, hello there. Don't poke you. Oh no, don't poke me. No, no. Wow! Get me with this big arm. No! oranges. Who's that stinky? Stinky one. Uh-oh, you got me. You got me with this thing. Here's the roast of Sharon. These are really good to eat. Flower vines, here's some passion fruits. Look at those. Grapes and kiwis. All sorts of yumminess. Some strawberries in the understory. Hanafuyu persimmons. They should be ready in October. Good. That's a Franklin tea tree. Yeah, so I'm trying out a Bullock Brother technique of planting a nitrogen fixing shrub or tree next to the primary tree. So this is a filbert, and that's an Elaeagnus with yellow fruit. The Ligusta is getting big. It's really creating a lot of privacy between the back of the property and up the street where I have a lot of homeless types that hang out there. I don't mind them, I just don't want them staring into my property and knowing when I'm home. I'm extending this corner bush and turning it into a food hedge. So I have a couple little figlings that I got from John Wise, some random nitrogen fixing plant, got some beans growing here, and a very stressed out Juneberry. We'll see how that does. I also transplanted one of my thornless blackberries to see if I can get it to iterate this corner zone. Yeah, there's a water utility line here, so I can't really plant trees or bushes without disturbing the line. So I decided to go with Jerusalem artichoke to create a bit of a visual barrier. And these things seem to be about, they're almost, I don't know, 9 or 10 feet tall. This is the elder. This was planted to block the light from a street light. And so far it's the only one around, but it still seems to be producing a decent amount of berries. There must be. Yummy. So good. Some wood.